everybody for being here and taking time to tune in. And we'll go ahead and call this. Do I have a volunteer who would lead us in the invocation or
Can you repeat that? I will.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hiawatha.
Okay. I'll take the scripture from, may the Lord make your love increase in all that comes from the when and promises that shows about to relate to you. So the second God in prayer and for the opportunity to come together tonight to do the business of the community. Let our minds be set on wisdom, in the spirit of discipline and togetherness as we make decisions. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Hiawatha. Just excuse me one second, Sir Chair. Brad, we're having a little bit of interference. If everyone can mute unless you're speaking, that may take care of the problem. Okay.
If you're speaking, Amy's here, but I'm going to watch on Facebook. It's too hard to hear.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Amy is attending, Amy Bauer is attending, but I'm going to watch on Facebook. I can't hear it so bad.
Okay, Miss Amy, I've got it. Thank you so much. Okay, Christian.
Sure, and at this time I'd like to welcome our new member, Ms. Washia Lancaster. Thank you so much for filling out an application and for your willingness to be a part and serve on this board. So we welcome you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we'll do the roll call. Felicia, would you like to call the roll?
Yes, thank you. Amy Bauer. Miss Amy is here. She's going to watch on Facebook. Christian Damon.
Here.
Tara Humphreys.
Here.
Elvira Johnson.
I'm here.
Hiawatha Jones.
Here.
Washia Lancaster.
Here.
Tracy Lewis.
Here.
Stephen McFarland.
Here.
Gregory Robinson. Sergio Sanchez. And Mael Thompson. Okay, thank you, everyone. So I have the honor to introduce our guest for this evening, Mr. Gene Troy. He works for the state of North Carolina. He serves as program manager for the North Carolina Human Relations Commission. He also serves as, well, in addition to managing the state's commission, he also provides consultation and serves as an advisor to human relations commissions across the state. So, Mr. Troy, thank you so much for being with us this evening, and the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gene Troy. I'm with the North Carolina Human Relations Commission. I've been working with the commission for close to 28 years. I've been involved with local Human Relations Commission 26 out of the 28 years. And Ms. Felicia Williams called me a couple of weeks ago and said that she wanted me to come to talk to you about what a local human relations or community relations commission does. And I said, okay, because I think I came back, I was there almost a year ago when I did a presentation actually in Goldsboro at the in the conference room or the city council chambers there in Goldsboro. Some of this might be a refresher for some and new information for others, but I want to make sure that I get this information to you to let you know what a local or local human or a community relations, yours is a community relations, very similar to local human relations commissions that are across the state. But before I do that, I do understand from Ms. Williams that you under your ordinance right now, that you are indicated as the community and community relations and community development commission. And I'm going to say this up front, and I said this back when I came the first time, is that it is a conflict of interest for you to be on both boards or both commissions. And so I have recommended to Felicia to inform the city manager to separate the two because it is a conflict of interest. There have been situations in the past, not necessarily in North Carolina, but in other places in the nation where there may be some discriminatory acts that have been committed by development corporations by not distributing the monies based on racial discrimination. And by that, what happened is that the city would be responsible to, if a complaint was filed against the city for that kind of a complaint. Well, you as a community relations, sometimes you receive those types of complaints to you as a commission. And this is similar to some other commissions. Now, you might not have any power per se, but it would look very strange that if you were on both, that you would really get a kind of a crazy look from judges that would say, well, why are these together? And so for liability purposes, for conflict of interest purposes, I've indicated to Felicia that the development commission that be taken out of the ordinance as well as in the bylaws. And I think the city manager has received that. And I think that he is going to try to make steps in order to get that done. So the things that I'm going to be talking about is not for community development and dealing with community development block grants. The things that I'll be talking about tonight is what you do as a community relations commission. Can I share this? Is it possible for me to share content?
Yes, Brad.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is a creation of local human relations commissions. Hold on, there we go. Normally, when a commission is created, it's either done by one of the following acts from government. It's either done by an ordinance, it's done by bylaws, it's done by an executive order, a resolution, or a motion. Now, your community relations has been created by an ordinance, but you have bylaws that you have an ordinance and you have bylaws that govern you as a Goldsboro Community Relations Commission. There are two types of commissions that are in North Carolina. There is the volunteer commission and there's the paid staffed commission. Now, the volunteer commission, which that's what Goldsboro is, it's a direct, the commission has direct relationship with officials. The commission conducts its own programs. That means you develop any types of events or sponsor events or seminars or workshops. You either help conduct them or you co-sponsor them. You may have a liaison person between the commission and the city council, which is the body that you report to. So Felicia is your staff liaison person. And then there is a city council person who is assigned to you as a commission, as a council liaison. And I don't know who that is, but I'm pretty sure there's someone that is assigned to you from the city council. The other thing that a volunteer commission does is that you may have directives from the city council, and some of those directives are indicated in your ordinance as well as in your bylaws concerning the directives that they would like for you as a community relations commission to do. The second type is a paid staff commission. And basically, first of all, in order for it to be considered a commission to be a paid staff commission, there is a local human or community relations department staffed by either the city or the county. So there are a couple of places in North Carolina that have departments. Charlotte Mecklenburg has a community relations department. Winston-Salem, Rocky Mount, Wilson, Durham, Orange County, where Chapel Hill is, Raleigh, Fayetteville, and so all of them have they have a staff department where they maintain commission government relationships. They conduct and produce the commission's programs. In other words, the commission will decide what we want to do. We want to sponsor this type of program. So the staff is the one that tries to make sure that that program is in existence. The other thing that a staff department has is an executive director. And there's a role that that the director plays, and then there's a role that commission members play in commissions. Went too fast. Oh, okay, let me go back. There we go. You as a commission member, your role is to advise government or community on human relations issues. You as a commission member serve as a resource for the community. You as a commission member ensure services are implemented fairly by the city. And then you as a commission member may have to provide training to the public. Now, let me go into a little detail there. This doesn't necessarily mean that you would be conducting the training for any type of training session. However, what it does mean is that you would find persons who are experts in the areas that you want training done in the community and have them to do the training for you. You are able to provide the training, but there would be experts that come to do the training for you at that event. The executive director that the staff commissions have, they serve clients directly. They manage the commission office as well as the commission members' meetings. They advise commission members on all types of things involving human relations issues in the city or county. They may have to provide training to the commission members and to the public on certain human relations issues that are going on currently. So those are the roles of a commission member and of an executive director.
Felicia, I've got a question.
Yes, I'm sorry, who's speaking?
This is Elvira.
Yes, ma'am.
Can Troy give us an example of some of the community relations training that has gone on? What type of human relations issues have counties before provided training to the public?
Are you talking about commissions in other areas, or are you talking about Goldsboro?
Other areas.
Other areas. I'm glad you asked, because that is coming up in a little bit later. So if you can put a pin on it, I'll come back to your question.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. What commissions do? What do community relations commissions do? Let me go back. They provide equal opportunity and diversity appreciation programs. And they monitor, study, recommend, resolve local human relations problems. They monitor, report, deal with local hate crime bias activity. They become a crisis intervener of human relations issue for the local community. And also, it can be a trainer for crisis intervention to local human relations issues. These are just some of the things. Some of the things that a commission commissions do. Now, one of the most important things that I want to point out is number 2 is monitor, study, recommend, resolve local human relations problems. A lot of commissions, mostly all of the commissions have this provision either in their ordinance or in their bylaws. And basically, this provision provides you or empowers you to be able to make recommendations to the city council. So in other words, if there is an issue, a human relations issue that is going on in Goldsboro, and you happen to be able to have some types of action steps to be able to deal with it, or recommendations that you want to give to the city council for them to deal with this issue, then you have the power to make that recommendation to the city council. This provision here allows you to do that. Okay? Some important to-do items that you should consider doing as a community relations commission in Goldsboro. You should schedule a human relations commission orientation. You should schedule other commission trainings needed, such as fair housing training, crisis management response training, hate crimes, hate bias training, cultural diversity training, and there's some other trainings that are out there that can be provided to you as a commission. Now, I want to let you know that some of these we can do them for you. Fair housing, crisis management response, hate crimes, hate bias, those trainings we definitely can provide to you if you request that type of training as a commission. The next thing you might want to consider doing is become a hate violence information network affiliate. What that does is that gives you, what it is that you are in partnership with us in the fact that you will report any type of hate crime or hate bias incident that occurs in your area to our office, so that we can have we can keep a report on it. Our office maintains an annual hate crimes, hate bias incident log on an annual basis, and the log is requested throughout the state by local commissions as well as some law enforcement. And not only that, every now and then we get a request from the North Carolina General Assembly to send them information on any types of hate crimes or hate bias reports that we have if they're considering any type of hate crime legislation to move forward with. And so by you being a partner as far as being a Haven affiliate, that means that that's giving you the that is allowing you to provide us information on any type of hate crime or hate bias incident that might occur in the Goldsboro area. The other thing to consider doing is attend the statewide meetings with the local human relations commissions in North Carolina. We co-host the statewide meetings. They're on a quarterly basis. The next statewide meeting is scheduled for March 30th. We will be sending out a flyer to save the date, and then eventually later we will be sending out an agenda for the meeting. The meeting gives you an opportunity to hear and see other commissions across the state, as well as hear a presentation on some type of human relations issue that a commission might be dealing with, or if there's a statewide issue that information that we want to provide to all of the local commissions concerning the statewide human relations issue. So it's very informative. It's very knowledgeable. You also get to, like I said, get to know and get to see other commissions, persons who are actually doing the same type of work that you will be doing as far as human relations work. And so it also lets you know that you're not alone in this type of work in dealing with human relations issues in local jurisdictions across the state. The other important things that you need to do as a commission is to create positive interagency relationships. You want to be able to have good relationships with other types of organizations that are in the Goldsboro area, because you never know that there might be some organization or a city department that may have the same idea that you as a community relations commission have, and you might be able to partner or co-sponsor an event together whenever the same idea comes across from both groups. The other thing is reach out to all communities. In other words, you want to get to know persons within all communities throughout the city of Goldsboro. Reach important understandings with all of those groups, because there may be some things that are going on in their areas that you are not aware of, or the city is not aware of, but they know that you are on the Community Relations Commission, and you can bring those types of issues to the commission or to the city council to let them know what types of issues are going on in local communities. The other thing is to understand the community's history and the present perceptions in the community. In other words, you want to get an idea of what type of history happened in Goldsboro when it comes to human relations issues, and you want to also find out what are the present perceptions of human relations issues in the city of Goldsboro, because that information is very vital and very important for you to know in order for you to be able to make plans to try to improve on human relations issues in your local area. Your specific duties as stated in the bylaws, does everybody have a copy of the bylaws? Okay. What I want you to do is, if you would, go to page 3, and there's a 8 items listed there. There are 8 items listed there that basically talks about what your specific duties are as a commission. The only one that I would take out is number 5, because that has more to do with community development block grants than it does with community relations commissions. But the others do play a role in what you do, what your specific duties are as a community relations commission. As you can see, and I'm just going to pick out a few here. As you can see, number 2 is the one that I just mentioned as one of the provisions in your bylaws to study and make recommendation concerning problems in any and all fields of community relations to encourage fair treatment and mutual understanding among all racial, ethnic, cultural, and social economic groups in the city. Then number 8, if you look at number 8, it says to make recommendations to the city council designed to promote goodwill and harmony among racial, ethnic, cultural, and socio-economic groups in the city. So these things that are listed in your bylaws are really stating what the duties are for your community relations commission. Okay, so if you're talking about if you're talking about certain things, then most of them are going to be covered in these seven things that are listed as duties for you. Now, let me go back there. I think that one of you had a question about some of the things that other commissions do in your local areas concerning human relations issues. I don't know if you have this list, but do you happen to have a copy of the some activities of local human relations commissions? Y'all have that?
They received that, Mr. Choi, back in September of 19 when you were here. I did not send that out for tonight's meeting.
Okay. Hopefully you'll get a copy of that information. But let me just tell you a couple of things that other commissions have done. And these things that I'm talking to you about that I have on the list, other commissions have already done them. Make recommendations to the city council commissioners about human relations issues concerning fair housing, concerning public accommodations discrimination, concerning services to all citizens, concerning hate bias incidences or either crimes that have been committed in the city. Be a sponsor or co-sponsor of providing training seminars to realtors, rental property managements, and persons in the communities regarding the North Carolina Fair Housing Law. Sponsoring or co-sponsoring a youth student human relations commission within your community, which will teach youth to understand and perform community service, to understand the legislative system, to how to advocate on human relations issues that affect communities. Some other activities: sponsor or co-sponsor celebrations and public service programs of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday and the steps of his nonviolence philosophy. Sponsor or co-sponsor an international festival where all cultures are recognized and a sharing of cultures take place. Sponsor Human Rights Week within the city. Human Rights Week is normally in this month, really, Human Relations Month. Sponsor or co-sponsor health seminars about health disparity issues and concerns to minority. That's a big deal in the fact of, issues concerning COVID-19, and there's
There's been studies recently where, there's been disparities as far as how it affects minorities, black and brown people, as well as disparities in getting vaccines to black and brown people. Those are just some of the things, some of the activities that commissions have done across the state. And those are things that you may want to consider doing yourselves. But those are just some of the activities that that you as a community relations commission can consider doing for the city of Goldsboro. How much time? Okay, it's 30. Good. I got some more minutes. Let me, Ms. Felicia, let me ask you this. Did they get a copy of the statewide trends affecting human relations in North Carolina?
No, sir. The only thing I provided for this meeting was the bylaws. But they have received that, but we don't have it in front of us tonight.
Okay. Well, then I won't go over that then. But I will go over this. There is what they call a Human Relations Monthly Calendar for celebrations, programs, and activities. Ms. Felicia has a copy, and I hope she gets that out to you. But if you look at the list, and I have a list in front of me, each month there's something, with the exception of March and August, there is something that can be celebrated when it comes to human relations throughout the year. Let me just give you the list here. In January, the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday is big. In February, there's Black History Month, there's Human Relations Month. There's really nothing that's as far as a national type human relations event in March, but in April is considered Fair Housing Month. That's a big month for my office. In May, they're normally for commissions, they may have celebrations for different cultures.
Mr. Choi, excuse me, can you repeat what April was for?
Fair Housing Month.
Fair housing. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's a huge thing for a lot of commissions throughout the state. June is considered, there is LGBT Pride Month, Pride Day in June. And so there's a lot of celebrations in that, as well as Juneteenth, June 19th. Those are big now. In July, there are not really any specific celebrations, but a lot of commissions, what they do is that they would celebrate the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was signed into law in July. And sometimes they may have a program in July, but then if they feel like July is not a good month, they'll move it either to March or they'll move it to September. In September, there is Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, which are Jewish celebrations. There's also Latino Hispanic Month, which is from September 15th to October 15th. And so that covers September and October. In November, is considered to be Indian Heritage Month, Native American Heritage Month. That's a big deal for Native Americans all across the state. And then in December, there's all kinds of things that are in there. Hanukkah's in there, Ramadan, Christmas, Kwanzaa, but also dealing with human relations and human rights. There is an International Human Rights Day, which is normally held between December 10th and December 15th. But the official day for International Human Rights Day is December 10th, because that's when the first one was held in on that date when the United Nations General Assembly adopted and proclaimed it the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So that's been, there are commissions that actually do commemorate that date. They might read a resolution to it or some type of program for that there. Now, there are other issues that are celebrated that are not necessarily on the calendar, but you may want to consider doing programs for these events. For example, the signing of the Fair Housing Act was done on April the 11th, 1968. That's why they designate Fair Housing Month in April. The signing of the Civil Rights Act, which officially is on July 2nd, 1964. The signing of the Voter Rights Act, which was officially done on August 6, 1965. The signing of the hate crimes law that makes it a federal crime to assault an individual because of his or her sexual orientation or gender identity was signed in October 28, 2009. And so those are just some other dates that some commissions do a celebration on, and those might be some that you might want to consider doing some type of celebration for those events. So I hope that Ms. Felicia will get that copy to you to give you an idea of what each month has as far as a celebration or an event that happened that is very important to commemorate human relations and human rights. The last thing that I'm going to be talking about, let me go through this real quick. Is you as a community relations commission, you might not have an idea as to what it is that y'all want to tackle as far as human relations issues in the city. And so what we normally suggest at here at the state office is this, and I'm going to get to it in a minute. Hold on one second. I know there's a lot of points in between. There. You as a community relations commission will need to get together and develop a local human relations commission work plan or community relations commission work plan. In order for you to develop it, first of all, you need to schedule a retreat. And the retreat needs to be at least 3 hours to be able to iron out any issues concerning what you are going to discuss at that retreat. What is done there is that you list all human relations issues that all of you feel are affecting your local area. And out of the total list, you as a whole group need to choose the top 3 to 4 human relations issues that you as a commission agree upon to focus on and deal with as a commission. And once the human relations issues are chosen, you develop a plan of action for you to take on those chosen human relations issues.
Mr. Troy, if I may interject so that everyone will know, I do have this information already kind of in writing, so I will send it out to everyone.
Now, after you decide as a group or what issues you want to deal with, you develop necessary subcommittees to move the plan of action forward. And these are some ideas here: housing, education. If you're dealing with housing, you're dealing with education, dealing with community relations, police community relations, economic development, public accommodations. other issues, senior citizens issues, youth issues, homeless issues, health disparity issues. Those are things that you want to develop as the subcommittees to be able to develop plans in order to have action steps that the commissions can take to deal with those issues. Now, I want you to remember, you take this to heart. When you develop your subcommittees, all commission members do not need to be on all subcommittees. When you develop the subcommittees, you can have persons in the community on the subcommittees that have experience in and or either work in the fields to help you deal with the human relations issues locally. For example, a banker, a realtor, a broker, a developer can be a committee member of the fair housing housing subcommittee. It doesn't necessarily be fair housing. A principal, a teacher, a school board member, a superintendent, a counselor can become a committee member of the education committee. A pastor, a community leader, a business owner, a director of a nonprofit organization, an administrative staff member with the police and sheriff's offices can be members of the community relations subcommittee. Those are just examples. What I am stressing is this: there do need to be members of the commission on the subcommittees, but again, all of the commission members do not need to be on all subcommittees. You should consider which area that you're interested in, and then consider being a member of that subcommittee. But then you go out and look for other members that have expertise in the area that you're going to be dealing with in that subcommittee. And then after developing the subcommittees for your commission, you will need to have some short-term objectives and long-term objectives to help you plan for the action steps needed in order to deal with the identified issues affecting your area. Now, as Ms. Felicia noted, she has this information, so you can use these questions for the short-term and long-term objectives for your commission. And as you see, there are 3 questions here for the short term. What gains progress in local human relations can we celebrate? What local human relations issues currently need attention? And what challenges in local human relations await us? Okay? And then there are the long-term ones, questions. What can become a problem in the future? What first steps need to be taken now? And how would doing nothing now affect our community? And I would even go in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now. And so that's all I have as far as the presentation. Do you have anyone has any questions that they may want to bring up, and I can see if I can try to respond to them concerning what you can do as a commission. Not all at one time.
Mr. Troy, I'm not sure, did you clarify or not if we are a volunteer or a paid commission? I know the answer, I just want to make sure that the commission knows the answer.
Yes, our office has classified Goldsboro as a volunteer commission because you do not necessarily have a paid staffed department. You have a staff liaison person, but you don't have a staff department. So you would be considered as a volunteer commission.
And when you say paid staff department, are you referring to a full-time paid human relations individual?
No, it has to be more than just one individual. It has to be, they have, an executive director, they have specialists. It has to be more than just one person.
Okay. Thank you.
So in Goldsboro, where we have a community relations and development director and a community relations specialist, that doesn't qualify?
No, sir, because the community development, is talking about the CDBG, information and dealing with those types of things. The community relations specialist, even though, I think Ms. Felicia is doing both at this particular time. But as far as the community development part, that's not considered part of community relations under the identification that we have here at the state.
I understand that, but here they combined the two functions. So there was a director that handled community relations as well as Felicia Williams as the community relations specialist. So,
Right, right. But we still would consider it a volunteer commission, because even though there was a director and then there was a specialist, there still has to be more staff involved. And let me give you an example. Fayetteville has 4 people. They have a director, they have a human relations manager, they have 2 specialists. Goldsboro has 5 people. Charlotte has 14 people. Durham has 6 people. Raleigh has 7 people. So it has to be more than just 2 people. We recognize it as being 3 or more people as a department. And not only that, it has to be a recognized department as a local human relations department or a local community relations department.
okay.
Any
So it's
other
got,
question?
yeah, and it's got nothing to do with paying the volunteers, obviously, right? The commission themselves.
No, it has nothing to do with paying the volunteers. They're doing this on their public service. And none of the other commission members in other cities are being paid. They are being appointed, or persons who are interested in serving the public. They are allowed to be on the commission as a public servant.
Thank you. And is there any requirement by North Carolina General Statute or anything for a community relations commission?
Is there what? I'm sorry, say that again.
Is there any requirement from state legislatures for a community relations commission?
No, there's not a state requirement. Basically, if a local jurisdiction wants to establish one, then they can do it on their own. And that's what has happened in all of the different cities. Let me state this. And I didn't say this, but it's in the PowerPoint presentation. There are 25 commissions throughout the state, all throughout the state. There are some that are paid staff. There's some that are volunteer. The closest ones to you are Rocky Mount, Edgecombe County, and the city of Greenville Human Relations Commissions. Those are the closest one to you, along with Raleigh. Raleigh's an hour away, so Raleigh's close as well. But there are 25 all across the state. And Miss Felicia, I think she has a list of those 25 commissions that are across the state. And I think I may have to give you an updated version, because there have been some changes as far as personnel is concerned. So I'll send Miss Felicia the newly updated list of commissions so that the commission members can have it. But there are 25 across the state. So Goldsboro is not the only one that is doing this type of work.
So have we ever had this kind of commission set up here in Wayne County, and do we have any plans to establish?
That I do not know. And let me tell you, the only part that I can tell you is that I have never been approached by the Wayne County Board of Commissioners as to establishing a commission. However, I have been aware that Goldsboro has had this commission for a long time. As a matter of fact, I had dealings with the former director, which was Letterry Ward, who was the director prior to your last director. So I did have dealings with her, and I did deal with the commission then, and they did do a few things that were indicated on the list that I gave you. And so, yeah, I have been involved with some of the things that the when prior director was actually director of the commission.
And you said there were 25 throughout the state, or was that just 25 that are
Throughout the
volunteer?
state,
Throughout the state.
To include,
they're both either paid staff or they're volunteer.
okay.
And I'll send that list out, but on the list, each commission is identified as to whether they're paid or volunteer.
Any other questions that you may have?
Hey, Mr. Troy, this is Christian here. I have just a question on clarity. So just so I'm clear, you stated at the beginning of your presentation that we are actually considered a conflict of interest to have the Community Relations Board and the Community Development Board combined into.
That is correct. And I have indicated that information to Alicia, and I even indicated it at the last meeting that I had when I came to Goldsboro, and I indicated that it would be considered as a conflict of interest. And I believe the city manager and the assistant city manager was in attendance at that meeting, and they had a lot of questions concerning that. And I tried to explain to him, the both of them, that it is considered a conflict of interest. None of the commissions throughout the state are considered both members of those two commissions. They're either one or the other.
Yeah, I was there. Thank you, Mr. Troy.
Yes, sir.
I'm the city manager, Tim Salmon over here.
Yes, thank you for
Yes,
being
sir.
with us, Mr. Salmon.
Again, with the community development side of the house, how many commissions do you see on that? Because that's not required either, right?
Not necessarily, but I think a lot of cities and counties have them so that they can have a board to be able to deal with the issues when it comes to CDBG monies. I do know that there are some in the larger cities. I'm not too sure about some of the smaller ones, but I do know that the larger cities have commissioned community development commissions. Now, how many, I don't know. You probably have to do research on it, but I do know that they do have commission development, community development commissions in some of the larger cities.
Thank you, Mr. Troy.
Yes. Any other questions? Now, let me share this before it's time for me to get out of here. How does our office play a role as far as with the Goldsboro Human Relations Commission? We are a technical assistant agency. In other words, we provide technical assistance to you. We provide training to you. We can conduct trainings for you to be able to be knowledgeable about certain human relations issues. And we also can also, if you have issues where you want to have experts to come speak on behalf of those certain issues, we have a list of persons that are experts in human relations issues across the state, and that we can recommend to you to be able to be a part of any type of sponsored event that you have. And so that is our role to you. We don't govern you. We don't monitor you. We don't rule over you. We're here to assist you. And I can tell you this, and you can ask a lot of the other commissions that they, if they have issues that they would like for us to provide technical assistance to or provide training for, we have done that in the past, and we have continued doing that, even though we're in a COVID-19 environment. We've been able to do it on a virtual means. The trainings that the commissions have requested of us to do. So if you as a commission want us to do that, we have the capability of doing that. Any other questions that you may have about anything that I've talked about this evening?
I'll ask another one, Mr. Troy, if you don't mind.
Sure.
What's been your experience at the county level seeing this kind of thing versus the city for the Community Relations Commission?
The counties are a little bit hesitant in having commissions. There's only a few that are across the state. The only ones that I know of right now are Orange County, Edgecombe County, those are the only main ones. Oh, Charlotte, Mecklenburg, they combine. But those are the only ones that are county, as far as commissions are concerned. Now there has been interest from Pitt County, and they're in the discussion phase of trying to see which way they want to go, whether they want to consider a volunteer commission model or the paid staff model. But they're not official yet. They're in the discussion phase of it. That is about the only other county that has considered having a local or a human relations commission. It tends to be a little bit tougher on the counties. The counties, I haven't had too much success as far as establishing county commissions. There were more in the past, but in 2000, a lot of them disbanded. Caswell County had one. Person County had one. I'm trying to think. Halifax County had one. And so, but they disbanded in 2000, and there has not been any kind of reaching out to us as far as wanting to establish or reestablish a local human relations commission. But there has been a lot of interest from a lot of cities and a lot of towns wanting to either establish a new one or reestablish the old ones that they had.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Troy, can you kind of go through a typical, just how this works, like take an issue, and so if we establish an issue, so we establish a committee to do that issue, or is there funding involved? Is there an event that has to be put on? Can you kind of, quickly walk us through that, if it is quick?
For example, let me give you an example. There have been local commissions where they've been approached and they felt like they may have been discriminated against for fair housing. Okay. Now, you don't have the power to enforce fair housing, but we do. So you as a commission, you can refer them to us. And by you doing that, you have done your duty as a commission, but you've also helped out that person as far as wanting to see if they can file a fair housing discrimination complaint for investigation with our office. That's just one way of doing it. Another way, another thing that might pop up, say, for example, there may be an issue that pops up concerning the homeless. And people want to know what kind of solutions can be dealt with as far as the homeless is concerned. And so the city council might handle it on themselves, but a lot of city councils, what they've been doing is they've been giving them to local human relations commissions to come up with some recommendations as to how to deal with the homeless, and the commissions have come up with certain recommendations and have given those recommendations to the city council for them to consider. And some of the city councils have even taken some of those recommendations and moved on. Those are just two examples that I have on the top of my head.
Okay.
But as far as the subcommittees, you want to be able to find out as a group, what are the issues dealing with housing? What are the issues dealing with education in the city? What are the issues? And if there are issues, which I'm pretty sure they are, you want to be able to know what those issues are and then try to see if there could be recommendations made that can turn into action steps to move forward in order to deal with those issues.
Yeah, like you said, that we would take a look at the issues and then come up with your top 3. Is that what you said? Okay, and then from there, if we wanted
Develop subcommittees.
Subcommittees on that,
Mm-hmm.
and then recommendations on how to either educate or do events, or however we wanted to handle those issues. Okay.
That's right. That's exactly right. You got a nail on the head. And let me also tell you this too. You're not alone as far as the issues are concerned. There are other commissions that are out there. There are persons in the director for Fayetteville has told me that if a local commission needs help, he's willing to do it. I've been told by him. I've been told by Charlotte, the city of Charlotte's director. I know that Archie Jones, who's the director over in Rocky Mount, is willing to be able to help you in any kind of way. So it's not just me. You've got other commissions that have done certain things on certain issues, and sometimes you don't have to invent it. Sometimes you don't have to invent it yourself. Sometimes you just recycle it from another commission that has happened in another local area. I guess that's my time.
Mr. Troy, before you go, I'm just interested in knowing if you have any solutions or resolutions concerning the homeless that other commissions have come up with. We are seeing a kind of an uptrend in homelessness in Goldsboro. So any solutions or recommendations from other local commissions that you mentioned earlier?
I can tell you one commission that's been dealing with that issue, and that's the City of Winston-Salem Human Relations Commission. Wanda Allen Abraha, who is the director of the commission, they have been doing some things for dealing with the homeless over the last 4 to 5, maybe even more than 5 years. I know that they've got certain things that they've been doing, and you may want to reach out to them as far as some of the things that you may are considered when it comes to the homeless issue.
Thank you. If nothing else, there any other questions, comments?
Hey, this is Christian here. I guess my only question would be, since it is a conflict of interest that our boards are combined, how can we go about putting the boards back up again so that we can have one board that is solely focused on human relations and bettering that in the city, and then have a separate board that's solely focused on community development?
That is a great question. This is just my suggestion. I mean, I've already mentioned it to Felicia. Felicia, the city manager and the assistant manager are aware. But to make it official, I would suggest that you make it official as a group, that you discuss it at your meeting, and that you actually make it official. And what I mean by official is that you have discussion on it, and then you make a vote or do a vote whether you want to split or not split. And if it goes to the point, if it goes to the point where you want to split, then you would make that recommendation to the city manager, to make that recommendation to the city council to split the two. One commission for community relations, one commission for community development.
I would agree.
That's just my suggestion.
Yep. I mean, your commission is commissioned by the council, and Felicia there is liaison right now, just like Shakol was in the past. So I recommend you think about that and talk about it at the next council meeting, or your commission's meeting, and you can forward what recommendation you think is best. Obviously, we're still trying to get a director for the Department of Community Relations and Development, and we'll see where it goes from there. That makes sense to the commission? Okay.
Okay, anything else? Mr. Troy, thank you so much for being with us. Also, our city manager, thank you for being with us this evening. And Sir Chair, I will turn it over to you to adjourn.
Sure thing. Thanks to all the commission members for making this meeting a priority, for tuning in and engaging. Mr. Troy, thank you so much for your time and suggestions. To close, I wanted to thank Felicia Williams with the City of Goldsboro. She really has stepped up communication with the board and helping to get information out to us and keep our board organized and on the up and up. And we look forward to working with you more. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in and watching on Facebook and engaging. LaShonda Perkins, thank you. This is the Community Relations and Development Board, and so it's important to have community feedback and support. And last, I wanted to thank everybody who made the Martin Luther King Jr. virtual event a success, the city staff, and I personally got many calls and messages about the video. It received nearly 3,000 views on Facebook, and I just wanted to thank the guests who took time out of their schedules to be a part. They are Tim David Ham, Representative Raymond Smith, Congressman G.K. Butterfield, Ms. Deborah Braswell, and Pastor Terry Jones from the City Church of Goldsboro. They all made it a very special event honoring the life of Dr. King, and we thank all of them for the investment into our city. So if there's no further feedback, questions, or comments, I'd like to take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Hold on, excuse me. I've noticed in the chat that they said that someone has asked if there's an email address that you can reach me at. Let me make sure I get that email out to everyone. The email address directly to me is Gene, Gene, Troy, Troy, @ O as in orange, A as in apple, H as in hello, .NC, North Carolina, .gov. I just wanted to make sure that everybody had that email address if they wanted to reach out to me on an individual basis.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And with that, does anyone have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
I second.
I'm
All
sorry,
right,
who provided the motion in the second?
I know Mael provided the second. And I
Stephen
think,
provided the first motion.
yes.
Who did?
Mr. McFarland.
Oh, thank you,
provided the
Mr.
first motion,
McFarland.
And Mael Thompson seconded, and all in favor?
Aye.
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 No opposed, so we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.